A few years ago, I couldn't cover a $400 emergency. Not because I wasn't earning. I had a salary, I had a job, I had a budget app I downloaded 3 times. I just had no system. Every month, money went in, money went out. And somewhere between the two, I lost track of it. So I started paying attention, obsessively. For 30 days, I tracked every single dollar. What I found changed how I thought about money completely. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3-step system I built from that experience and what the numbers looked like before and after. This isn't a get-rich formula. It's a stop losing money invisibly formula. And it took me about 90 days to see real results. Hey, I'm Monty. Before we dive in, I want to be straight with you. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not here to sell you a dream. What I do is take real data, run the numbers, and break it down in plain English so you can make your own call. Every stat I use will have a source on screen. Every strategy I share is one I've actually researched. No hype, no shortcuts, just the information you need to move forward. That's Monty's promise. Let's get into it. Before I get into the system, I want to share the 3 mistakes I was making, because I think at least one of them is going to sound familiar. Mistake 1, I was saving what was left over. At the end of the month, whatever hadn't been spent went to savings, which was usually between nothing and very little. The problem with this approach is that spending expands to fill whatever space it's given. There's always one more thing, one more trip, one more subscription, one more night out. I thought I was bad at saving. I was actually bad at sequencing. Every month, like clockwork. That gap isn't a personality flaw. It's a measurement problem. You can't manage what you're not measuring. Mistake 3, I had one account for everything. Emergency money, fun money, savings, all sitting in the same account, which meant that when I saw a decent balance mid-month, it felt like money I could spend, even when most of it was already committed. No separation meant no clarity, and no clarity meant constant small overspends. These 3 mistakes were each fixable, independently, without earning more. Here's how I fixed them. Step 1, track every dollar for 30 days without judging yourself. This step is not about cutting anything, not yet. It's purely about finding out where the money is actually going. I used a simple Google Sheet, 2 columns, category, amount. Every transaction, same day I made it. After 30 days, I added it all up by category. What I found was uncomfortable. Food delivery, I thought I spent about $60 a month on it. I was spending $180. Subscriptions I hadn't actively chosen in over a year, about $42 per month. These weren't dramatic revelations. They were quiet ones. Nobody had stolen from me. I had been choosing, one small decision at a time, to send money places I'd forgotten about. The 30-day tracking exercise doesn't require a specific app. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Same day entry, every transaction. The goal is a complete picture. Most people have never had a complete picture of their own spending. Once you have it, the decisions get much easier. Step 2, cut the 3 biggest leaks. Only 3, not everything. This is where most budgeting advice goes wrong. It tells you to cut everything, track every penny forever, give up everything you enjoy. That approach fails for most people. Within weeks, what actually worked, identify the 3 categories where the real gap was between what I thought I spent and what I actually spent. Cut those specifically. Leave everything else alone.
For me, those 3 were food delivery, unused subscriptions, and unplanned takeaway coffee. Not categories I was ashamed of, just categories where I had no intention behind the spending. It was automatic. I didn't cut food delivery completely. I set a budget. £40 instead of £180. I canceled every subscription I hadn't used recently. I started making coffee at home most mornings. The combined monthly saving from those 3 changes, about £170. That's £170 that was leaving my account every month in exchange for things I barely noticed. Here's the key idea. The goal isn't restriction, it's intentionality. Spending £40 on food delivery on purpose feels completely different from spending £180 without noticing. One is a choice, the other is a leak. Real quick, I built a free Google Sheets budget tracker that does everything I just described automatically. It has the 3-account setup, a 30-day spending audit tab, and it calculates your savings rate for you. The link is in the description. Completely free. Step 3. Automate savings before you can spend it. Here's the thing about willpower as a saving strategy. It doesn't work long-term. Not because you're weak, but because decision-making is limited. Every time you choose between saving and spending, you're using mental energy. Automation removes that decision entirely. The setup is simple. I opened a second account, a savings account, with no debit card attached. I set up an automatic transfer on the same day my salary arrived. Not the day after, the same day. The amount I started with was £150 per month. That's the money I had recovered from cutting my 3 leaks. The key is this: you never see the money as available. What lands in your main account is what you have. Everything else is already gone by design. Over time, I increased that amount gradually. Not aggressively, just consistently. After 3 months, I had around £450 saved. After 6 months, over £900. Not dramatic, but also not zero. 6 months after starting this system, here's what had changed. I had an emergency fund for the first time in my life. I had stopped overspending in the same categories every month. And I had a clear understanding of where my money was actually going. What this system didn't do is make me wealthy. It didn't solve investing. What it did was give me a stable financial foundation. And that foundation is what makes everything else possible.
The next step, where your money starts working for you, is a different conversation. We'll cover that in the next video. But you can't build on unstable ground. These 3 steps are the ground. Before you close this video, 2 quick things. First, the free budget tracker I mentioned. It's in the description, no email required. Second, if this helped you, subscribe and leave a comment telling me which of the 3 mistakes you recognized. I read every comment, and it helps me decide what to cover next. I'm Monty. See you next Tuesday.